Hey y'all, let me tell you about Mochi. Mochi is a telehealth platform that connects patients seeking medication-based weight loss treatment with board-certified doctors and dietitians to help them determine the best treatment options to accomplish that goal. Mochi's program is completely virtual, meaning you can access their services anywhere in the United States and you will be meeting with their team online. You deserve doctors that listen. Mochi is dedicated to providing holistic, patient-centered care that prioritizes overall well-being with the goal of transforming how weight management is approached. Mochi Health takes a holistic approach to weight loss that includes visit with board-certified doctors, nutrition consultations, and medications delivered to your door. Science-backed medications including GLP-1s like Ozempic and generic compound versions, affordable and accessible, regardless of insurance coverage. With Mochi, their dietitians work hand in hand with your medication to create personalized nutrition plans that fit your lifestyle. Reach your weight loss goals with science-backed, FDA-approved GLP-1 medications and support from real doctors and guidance from registered dietitians and help with making easy and sustainable changes to achieve results. Y'all have seen this. My wife has done it. My brother-in-law has done it. One of my best friends is doing it. And it really is an amazing process that works. So get started at joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off. That's joinmochi.com and use code RLRC to receive $40 off and let Mochi help change your life.
It can get lonely climbing Mount McKinley, so to entertain myself, I go to ChumbaCasino.com. At Chumba Casino, I can play hundreds of online casino-style games for free, like online slots, bingo, Slingo, and more. Plus, I get a daily login bonus. It's just too bad that up here, I don't have anyone to share my excitement with. Woohoo!
Live the Chumba life. Anytime, anywhere. Play for free now at ChumbaCasino.com. VGW Group. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited by law. See terms and conditions. 18+.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be against you in a court of law. You have the right to an attorney prior to and during questioning. If you can't afford one, the court will appoint one for you. You understand your rights? Warning. Each episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast, will contain descriptions of acts of violence or of a sexual nature and are for people that are 18 years or older. Heed my warning, people. I do not get the facts of these cases off the internet or from some television show. These facts I'm retelling were presented to me by the victims of the crime or the perpetrators who committed the crimes. My descriptions of the crime scenes are what I saw with my own two eyes. If you are going to get offended, turn this podcast off now. Thank you. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Real Life, Real Crime, the podcast. And I'm your host, Woody Overton. And joining me for the fourth week in a row, my co-host, Jim, the Hitman Rappin. What's up, Jim?
What's going on, 28? How you doing tonight?
I'm doing well. Also, here we go again. Part 4 on who murdered Courtney Coco. And We're going to get our standard apology for any sound issues or whatever out of the way. I mean, I've literally been on the road. I hadn't got off the road and we just don't have time to edit it and do all that fancy stuff. Now, Jim has been doing what Jim does best. And I know he has over 2,000 pages of documents in his possession now. And he's been going through things. And what you're getting when you get it unedited like this with the homes and me not having a script or an outline or anything to go by, or Jim not having to go by. I told Jim this earlier today. It's almost like we're sitting in the detective office back in the day, kicking it, planning on what we're doing. Right, Jim?
Oh, without a doubt. That's the best way to do it. Are those, we refer to them as jam sessions.
That's right. So y'all really are getting in on a jam session on what we've done and where we're going on this episode. But it's a lot, y'all. So again, we'll apologize ahead of time for any editing issues or sound issues. And, if it bothers you that much, I guess you can just go away. But what's important is Courtney Coco and who murdered her. All right. So Jim has found a plethora of different things, and just and y'all lifers have sharing and doing what you're doing. Man, we've been getting some monster tips, huh, Jim?
We've got some really good tips, things that have actually kind of helped connect the dots in some areas, or just to give you different ideas and thoughts of what way to take the case. But I've been doing a lot of digging, a lot of research, and then Woody and I will get into it later on. But let's just say I found some shit.
Yeah, we've found a lot of stuff in what he's done. See, y'all, it's kind of like being in a war. And so first of all, it's not all on one person. It's on many different people of interest, right? So we have to come up with a battle plan on who we would approach first. And some people, you can't just roll up on them and say, hey, we want to talk to you, right? We're not law enforcement anymore. And even if we were law enforcement, we would have to get them past Miranda and not lawyering up. So we have to look at the big picture, and that's where Jim does his matrices and puts the puzzle together. And we say, okay, he says, okay, Woody, look, we got this and this and this. Let's figure it out. How we want to approach it, who we want to approach first, who we want to try to exclude first as suspects, et cetera. And so it's just a lot that goes into it, and a lot of planning and stuff. And so you're not going to get everything in probably 10 episodes, but we're going to tell you, piece by piece, some of the things that we have done and that have happened, but keeping in mind that that's not all that we've done. We've done volumes more.
I mean, what he's saying is basically like, I'll come up with a matrix and I'll come up with different ways of what we need to do, but Woody and I will get on the phone and probably spend 45 minutes just talking about all the different ways that why this next move can either be positive or negative. And is this the right person we go to, or do we need to go this way? And we will literally talk about every single scenario, what could go right, what could go wrong, and hammer that out so that way we know the next move we're making is the right move. Right. As you can't go too fast. You have to take your time and be very methodical about what you're doing. And those are a lot of the jam sessions we have that you guys haven't had the chance to hear yet. Maybe you will hear soon. Yeah,
and the very important aspect of that is on how to approach them. Each person, it's almost like doing profile on them and figuring them out and figure out if you have to approach them soft or hard or whatever. So, but it's just a lot. And so we're going to tell you what happens on today's episode. Just know that we are weeks ahead, in this investigation, and we are going to do it, or we're going to die trying. So All right, so let's go. And Jim, just jump in whenever you want. On a natural investigation, y'all, homicide investigation, you have a body, then you are going to almost always start with the people that are closest to the victim to rule them out, right? I mean, because it's a proven fact, most homicides are, committed by people who know each other. So on this case, Courtney is found in Winnie, Texas, and about the identification of the body, et cetera. And then, of course, we told you about the Detective Rabelais trying to get the search warrant and what transpired on all that last week, et cetera. But at some point, Detective Rabelais comes to Louisiana, and he wants to, interview witnesses or potential people of interest and stuff like that. But when I talked to Rabelais, he said, hey, I had to start with the family, right? I mean, straight up. And I was like, yeah, always. But we know Stephanie, the mom, was at the hunting camp with her husband and some friends, Mr. Bobby and some friends. And they got to her and pretty much excluded her pretty fast. She did submit to a voice stress analyzer test, and I'm going to get to that in just a second. And of course, she passed it with flying colors, and so she was exonerated. Now, voice stress analyzer, that is what is purportedly a lie detection device, okay? Totally different thing than a polygraph. Now, in 2004, I still don't think they have it to this day. Anybody could buy a voice stress analyzer, we'll call it the VSA, and run it. You could buy one off of eBay and run it. And they've proven you have a better chance of flipping a coin and getting it right than using that. Now, these are studies, and I could quote them. Hold on. I don't normally do this. But I was looking at something earlier just to give y'all an idea.
Voice stress doesn't carry much weight.
It's crap. It's crap. Yeah.
It's crap. Every time we've ever heard on other investigations that they've done a voice stress, it's like, yeah, well, that didn't work out so well, so now we got to do it a different way.
Yeah, let me tell you a little bit about it. And I was reading an article earlier, but I know for a fact that, anyway, the polygraph, I'm not going to read out the article. The polygraph is in the hands of a well-trained, experienced examiner. The Department of Defense study shows it have up to 98% accuracy. They did the same studies, and not only the Department of Defense, but they commission all these different universities to do the studies on the voice stress test. And the studies went from straight out flat unreliable to all of them said you had less than a 50% chance. You have a better chance of flipping a coin and getting it right than you have a less than 50% chance of getting it right on a voice stress test. All right. Why am I going there? When Stephanie, they brought her in, and gave her the voice stress test, she's passed, right? Well, then this week I had a chance to meet one of Courtney's sisters, and it was important. It was a natural progression in our investigation, right, Jim? And
It was.
And as it was back in the day, and there's some reasons for it. But the sister went over to Stephanie's house when she got the call about Courtney's body being there. And, she got there, and the detective Cedric Green, was at the table, talking to the family members by this time. And a person of interest came up, and the sister said, I know where he lives. And Cedric Green asked her and her boyfriend to go get the address off the house. I don't know why. But anyway, a couple days later, she gets, I think after the funeral, the sister gets a call from Cedric Green, and he said, "Hey, I need you to come in and talk to me. We have some information in Courtney's case. It's new information. I need you to come down here right now." And she said, "Woody," I was like, "Okay, I mean, hell yeah, I want to know." So she called her mom and said, "Hey, Detective Green called me and said that he has, new information in Courtney's case. Are you coming down there?" And she was like, "Well, he didn't call me." And anyway, she goes to the police station, and Green brings her in straight into a room with a polygraph and a polygraph examiner. And Green starts to question her and saying, "Hey, did you kill Courtney? And you better confess," and all this stuff, right? Well, evidently Green went aboard her for a long time, like for hours. And then it came time for the polygraph examiner to administer the test. And she was so wigged out by the time they put the actual components on her. You have the two tubes, one goes across your upper chest and one goes across your abdomen. And then, the finger plates, the measure skin sweat, and then the arm pressure cuff, etc. And she said, "Woody, Green didn't let me have a sip of water. She said he was all over me for this whole amount of time and kept asking me, did I kill my sister?" And she said, when they put that stuff on me, she said, I freaked out. I tore it off and I said, the hell with this. I'm not doing this. And she said, as she went to the door, the Green tells her, if you don't come back in the morning at 9 a.m., it's going to look like you murdered your sister. All right. So how do we know this? I'm talking to the sister. Now, when I went to Texas and talked to Rabelais, he confirmed that part of the story. But he said he wasn't in Louisiana. Green was supposedly handling things. Green calls him and says, she refuses to take the polygraph. She refuses to take the polygraph and, we need to be on her, et cetera, et cetera. And then Rabelais said he got off the phone with him and he said Green called back the next morning and said that he had this great new test he wanted to use, or he was going to use on Courtney. It's the best thing in the world, et cetera. Well, guess what? It was a voice stress analyzer. And he calls Rabelais back and says, look, she took the voice stress analyzer test and she failed miserably. And Rabelais was like, okay, maybe there's something to this, right? Well, when I was meeting with the sister, and as Jim knows, the progression was because of what Rabelais had told us about her. And first of all, Green said she refused to take a polygraph, and then she failed voice stress test. Well, hell, we got to go talk to her, right, Jim?
Absolutely. That's just the next steps. You have to do it.
And now he tricked her into going in the first day by saying that it was new information. He didn't say anything about a polygraph. She gets in there. Let me tell you something. To be honest with y'all, the studies do show the voice stress test. The one thing they do have going for it, that like 10% more of the people will actually tell the truth when the device is set up in the room, because it scares them, right? But I talked to the sister in depth, and spent a couple of hours with her the first day, and she was very cooperative, and she's still very, very distraught and very upset. But she tells me what really happened. She said she left that day when she was so upset, and she called a family member that was high up in law enforcement and told him what happened. And he said, you go back in there tomorrow morning and you take that test and you answer yes or no, and don't add anything to your statement. Just go in there and tell the truth and answer yes or no. So the sister goes back 9 o'clock the next morning and meets the polygraph examiner. Now, this polygraph examiner, I can vouch for him. I know he's a good guy, and I know he's experienced, et cetera. The one that she told me it was. And he,
polygraph examiner.
yeah, and he treated her fairly, and he went through the whole testing procedure and all that. You know, you're not supposed to try to jack somebody up hard and saying, you know, did you, before you give them a polygraph and say you murdered your sister and you need to confess. That's not how it works. A polygraph, you go through the process, and then if they pass the test, then you exclude them. If they don't pass, then you get into the interrogation phase, right? So polygraph examiner treats her right, does it right. She takes the test, and then the test, y'all, when it comes down to the actual testing part itself, you run at least under Louisiana law for 2 charts for it to be valid. Most times you run 3. That's asking the same questions 3 separate times. And guess what? She gets done with the polygraph, and the polygraph examiner tells her immediately, he said her first name, and he said, I know you had absolutely nothing to do with Courtney's murder. Beyond a shadow of a doubt, you passed the polygraph. You had nothing to do with it. So she gets up to leave, and in pops our friend Detective Green, takes her into another room, and guess what? Go ahead, Jimmy. You can tell him what happened.
Go ahead and sets her up for the voice stress analysis.
Now, get this. She just passed the polygraph, which the Department of Defense, 98% reliable. And the same studies, Department of Defense show that voice stress is less than 50% chance. But why would you take her? Why would you even get her to submit to a polygraph? Shit, a polygraph process is an hour and a half to 3 hours at a minimum. It's not like the Maury Povich show, right? I'm serious. It's a tough process. And so she comes back in voluntarily because someone she trusts told her, just go in there and tell the damn truth and answer yes or no. And
which was the right thing to do.
Right. And I absolutely agree with it. But she goes in, she submits herself, and it's a grueling process to a real polygraph examination. And the examiner, who is very well respected, tells her, no doubt in my mind, you didn't have anything to do with it. Now, I can't, this is probably speculation. Absolutely, it is speculation on my part, but 9 times out of 10 in a criminal investigation like that, there's a 2-way mirror, and Green and them would have been sitting on the other side watching for the results. But either or, he damn well knew she passed a real polygraph test. Wasn't letting it go. Takes her in for a voice stress test, and she said they ran 2 of them on me. And I said, well, what happened at the end of it? She said, nothing. I said, what do you mean? I said, they didn't question you or anything. She said, no, they told me I passed it. And I was like, okay, here we go again. And I'm about to say a bad curse word. Y'all, it is not bashing police if you are doing bad shit. It's telling facts. Okay. And we, just like the last couple of weeks, and can't seem to get away from the actions of this dude. Right. So it brings her in. They give her, it was a totally different examiner, gives her the voice stress test, and she passes, let her go. He gets on the phone, immediately calls Detective Rabelais, and says she failed the voice stress test, and she failed it miserably. Not only did he lie about that, he lied. Spark something uncommon this holiday with just the right gift from Uncommon Goods. The busy holiday season is here, and Uncommon Goods makes it less stressful with incredible hand-picked gifts for everyone on your list, all in one spot. Gifts to spark joy, wonder, delight, and that's exactly what I wanted feeling. Hey, y'all, I ordered a super cool piece. It's a candle with a sculpture of LSU's Tiger Stadium on top of it. And each officially licensed laser cut wooden replica features up to 4 layers of detail, creating a bird's eye view of a specific football field, seating section, and more. And every label includes your stadium's name, the team's logo, and school location. And it has a coconut, soy, vegan wax infused with sandalwood smell that creates tailgates and touchdown scent profile, reminiscent of game day. It's invigorating like fresh cut grass and nostalgic like smoke from a pre-game grill. in calming like the crisp autumn air of a new semester on campus. Y'all, I love it. I have it at the base of my TV, and I'm ready to watch the Tigers play on Saturday night, right? Uncommon Goods. Look, when you shop at Uncommon Goods, you're supporting artists and small independent businesses. And many of their handcrafted products are made in small batches. So shop now before they sell out this holiday season. Uncommon Goods looks for products that are high quality, unique, and often handmade or made in the U.S. They have the most meaningful, out of the ordinary gifts anywhere. They even have gifts you can personalize. From holiday hosts and hostess gift to the coolest finds for kids, to hits for everyone from the book lovers to diehard sports fans. Uncommon Goods has something for everyone, not the same old selections you can just find anywhere. And with every purchase you make at Uncommon Goods, they give $1 to a nonprofit partner of your choice. They've donated more than $3 million to date. So to get 15% off your next gift, go to uncommongoods.com/RLRC. That's uncommongoods.com/RLRC for 15% off. Don't miss out on this limited time offer. Uncommon Goods, we're all out of the ordinary. Hey, y'all, you want to set your child up for success? Is your child struggling with a specific subject or need help with the subject? Is your child ahead? Not getting challenged enough in class? Well, IXL Learning is an online learning program that enriches your homeschool curriculum. It offers practice in math, English, language arts, science, and social studies while adapting to each child, meeting them where they are. Plus, IXL encourages students to become curious and empowers them to choose how to learn. Look, we homeschool our son. No doubt about it. He's more of a visual learner, and we use IXL, and Cindy teaches him, and there are so many different benefits to the program. It adapts to exactly what he needs in different areas. So IXL is the perfect supplement to your homeschool curriculum. IXL offers interactive practice problems, educational games, lessons, and video tutorials for every topic you're teaching at home. It's easy to use, time-saving. Everything on IXL is organized by grade, subject, topic, and subtopic, making it simple to find activities for the exact skills you are covering. IXL offers instant feedback and explanations of new topics as kids use the program. Kids can explore any topic in any grade level. They aren't forced into a single learning path like they are on other programs. If you're homeschooling your child because they were falling behind or because they were too far ahead like our son, IXL is a great program to help them get the exact support they need. Kids love IXL's positive feedback awards and educational games. IXL is trusted by 15 million students worldwide and has proven to improve performance in over 75 scientific research studies. Make an impact on your child's learning. Get IXL now. And Real Life Real Crime listeners can get an exclusive 20% off IXL membership when they sign up today at IXL.com/today. Visit IXL.com/today to get the most effective learning program out there at the best price. And don't forget, Real Life Real Crime listeners get 20% off. Y'all, we really do use this product, and it's been a godsend. I lied by omission and never told Rabelais that she took a real polygraph, consented to it, took it, and passed it. And I know that for a fact because I confirmed it was Detective Rabelais myself. So we're right back at it. I mean, Jim, you got to help me, dude, because I know here's the deal, y'all. We, believe it or not, we bleed blue. We came up, we dedicated our lives to law enforcement. And to have to sit here and talk about what's supposed to be a brother officer just pisses me off. But what really pisses me off is how these things were handled. And Jim, say something about it, because I'm going to get on the fucking rant.
Woody's right. You know, law enforcement out there, almost all of them that you encounter are hardworking, dedicated officers that are out there to help the community. try to make it a better community, solve crimes, and so on. They're wonderful. And we love them, we support them. But when you're wrong, you're wrong. And I've sit here and I rack my brain over this since we've got this information, and even over the last few weeks, and I just can't fathom why this guy is going to such great lengths to screw it up. I just don't understand. But more importantly, why would you not want to call the other detective who's working this with you, or trying his best to work this with you, and straight up lie to him? Like, you don't have to. You don't have to do that. Law enforcement has their ways of, whether we need to get somebody to talk or whatnot. There's ways that we can go about doing that. But the one thing we don't do is we don't lie to one another. And you just don't do it. You're straight up about it. I just don't know why this particular detective continues to just show that he is, in my opinion, look, honestly, if I as much sneeze in that with that PD, I want someone else investigating it if something were to happen to me. It's at that level. I have zero confidence in that, and it's just god awful. It really is.
Let's go back and refresh it, not to bash on the dude, but refresh the facts. And tell me if I leave something out, Jim. We have the veteran, seasoned, well-respected homicide investigator who says he got the runaround, he was lied to, etc. And he first of all starting off with a search warrant and taking 3 days to get a search warrant in a homicide investigation, which is just mind-boggling. Then we'll go to Detective Rabelais, the more seasoned investigator, especially homicide, asking Detective Green about the search, what the items they collected off the search warrant, and he said, we didn't get anything. We didn't get anything. The DNA test took like one pair of blue jeans or whatever it was. One item of clothing can't be tested. Well, we know that's a lie. And we told you all the items they took from the house last week. What else? Oh, the phone records, the person of interest. You tell them about that, Jim.
There was multiple phone calls that were made in the early morning hours after, and never once did he bother to tell Detective Rabelais about that, who had the ability at that time to track down those people and that were off of that phone list.
Yeah.
Talk about a critical piece of information that could have helped him out. Not to mention, he didn't know that as he kept coming to Alexandria to interview people or try to work on it, he didn't even have that information. Just flat out left it completely out. And a critical piece.
So y'all, it's not, you know what, Jim, this came to me. It's not only that he left out the phone records. What else could have been done on that phone? Cause we're talking about Courtney's phone, y'all. This person of interest had it 4:00 in the morning when she had last used it sometime around midnight or whatever. And this person of interest said that she wasn't with her. And this person of interest also said, we know it's a lie, that she rode around and smoked a whole bunch of dope with Courtney when they were going to pick up the person of interest's boyfriend. Toxicology proved that was a lie. And when Rabelais called Green back and says, we need to get her, because that's the one person of interest out of the whole investigation that Green actually produced for Rabelais. Rabelais told me, and I just talked to him again last night, y'all. He told me that every time he went over there and he had this certain suspect or person of interest he wanted to talk to, Green could never find him. And that's when he got so mad at the point he went to the chief, and the chief made him cooperate. And so he produces this one person of interest who gives this story who he now knows is a lie, proven by the autopsy, about what happened, what Courtney was doing in the hours before her death. And so Green can't produce her again. And then he kept Rabelais kept calling Green about it. And Green finally said, yeah, well, I talked to her and she's not changing her story. And then, so but back
taking Detective Rabelais around on a joyride.
Yeah.
Going to bad areas of Alexandria as if he cares.
Yeah,
he has
that's what he told
people in mind with a specific purpose of what he's trying to get to. And instead of assisting a seasoned investigator, I mean, Detective Rabelais knows his stuff. This guy was fantastic.
He's probably forgotten more. He's probably forgotten more about homicide than Jim and I would ever know in our entire lifetimes. That's how good he is.
This guy is legit. And here he is trying to solve this case. He has other cases to go to, but this case is of importance to him. And instead of taking him to find the people that he needs to speak with, you're just showing him like, hey, well, this area here is pretty bad. Look at this house is kind of run down.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. That's a bunch of bullshit.
That's what Rabelais said.
I've had people come to with Woody and I that, have certain people in mind. You know what? I know exactly where to go to try to find them. I'm going to get Uniform Patrol to help me out if they can. And we're going to find the people that they need to speak with because it's important.
That's exactly right. You do whatever you have to do to assist the other agency. Now, back to the phone records real quick. The bad guys and girls didn't know back then about cell phone towers pinging. That phone may have already been on its way to Texas. You know what I mean? I mean, just that it's just so bad. And he just lied to him. I mean, Rabelais told me, he said, you know what? He was riding me around showing this is where they sell drugs here and this prostitution. Rabelais was like, hey man, I don't give a fuck about this. Take me to find this person. But Green conveniently could never produce them.
So convenient.
But let me further the story. So I'm with the sister and I spent a couple of hours with her and really emotional, y'all. I'm a stranger. She doesn't know me. Then we kind of broke our walls down a little bit. And, as the time went on, and I asked her, I said, look, the easiest way for us to do this is to, if Green comes back and says, well, you didn't do this or whatever, I said, I'm a state licensed and board certified polygraphist or lie detector examiner. I said, I would ask you if you would be willing to do it. I mean, I know it's a hard thing to do, but would you take a lie detector with me? And she's like, hell yes, I'll take it with you. And so we set it up for the next day, which I think was yesterday morning. And we met at the location. I walked her through the full polygraph process again, like it's supposed to be done, including her polygraph rights and all this stuff and everything. The explanation, how it went, but then we had to define the questions, or what we call the relevant questions. And the relevant questions we came up with were R1, we'll call it relevant 1, was, did you kill Courtney Coco? And of course her answer was no. Relevant 2, did you participate in any way in the death? I didn't say that, I'm sorry, in the murder of Courtney Coco. And we defined participation as she helped hold her down while they were strangling her, or helped move the body, or anything like that, right? Tell them, Courtney's door was unlocked or something so they could go in and kill her. Any type of participation. And her answer was no. I asked her, did you leave Courtney's body in Winnie, Texas? Her answer was no. And I ran 3 charts and I collected and scored the data, and the possible outcomes of the test could be inconclusive. There's not enough data to score. No deception indicated, which means you're telling the truth, about the questions. Deception indicated, which means you're lying about one or more of the question, or no opinion, if I catch you trying to cheat or using a countermeasure, or, you just won't cooperate and follow my instructions. Well, she was a great examinee, and guess what? No big shocker. No deception indicated to all the relevant questions. This girl had nothing to do with Courtney's murder, and I staked my career on it.
Agreed. Let me tell you guys a little something about Woody and his polygraph too. There's a reason why I mean, Woody is so good at what he does with polygraphs. If he says that this person is telling the truth and it's verified with his polygraph, I will take it. I will put everything that I own on that because I know it's true. I've seen federal agencies ask him to help out with polygraphs. I've seen numerous law enforcement agencies ask him. You're talking about some of the most sensitive of cases, and that come to him every single time. Why? Because he is going to get it absolutely right. So I have no doubt whatsoever that that was a very successful polygraph.
And I appreciate that, but a big part on the polygraph, y'all, if they do show deception indicated, is getting a confession, using the polygraph to elicit a confession out of the person, right? But it wasn't necessary in this case. It's hard to pass somebody on a polygraph, especially when you're asking them, did they kill their own sister? And she's sitting there taking the test, crying. When I asked her, did you kill Courtney Coco? She's crying. I mean, but of course, she has her instructions on how she has to sit and answer and be still, etc. But she's answering it. She's doing it because she loves her sister. And let me tell you something. She was really, really close with Courtney, close in age, and they live right down the street from each other. They did everything together. They worked together every day. And so here I am asking this poor girl, did you kill your sister? If you think you could be attached to a polygraph machine and somebody not ask you, did you kill your sister, and your body not have strong physiological responses, because that's what the polygraph goes off of, then, but the other questions I had to put in the test, the relevant questions are scored against, it's called setting a psychological set. They have to be equally as important to the person, and it did it. But y'all, on a murder case, I've seen when you ask the question and they answer and like the lines shoot up off the page, or you can't even see them on the computer screen anymore, right? She didn't do it. And shame on Cedric Green for not only not telling Rabelais that she took a real polygraph and passed it, and the examiner told her, no doubt in my mind, you had nothing to do with it, but shame on him for running her in for a bullshit voice stress analyzer.
Immediately following.
Yeah, immediately following. Well, what's the point of that? Because you had it in your mind that you were going to say what you were going to say, and then calling Rabelais after and saying, hey, this is it, man. She failed it. She failed it miserably. Bullshit. And there's never been a shred of any type of proof or motive or anything else that this sister had anything to do with Courtney's murder other than they were super close. And that's,
you know what the other thing too, Woody? I mean, she literally went in there sunrise to sunset. I mean, she got there at 9 a.m. She was there for hours. I mean, the entire day. No bathroom breaks, no water, no food.
Right. And
then you're going to pull them off, off a polygraph into a voice stress test. Well, if you don't have food, you don't have water, and doing the things that are going on, what's that going to create?
But it was, that's right. But it was more the first day, Jim, that, when Green called her in and lied and said, hey, I have some new information about the case and bring her in. That's when he really hounded her ass. Right. They said for like 5 hours. And now you have to take in, there's a great big medical questionnaire you have to pass to be considered mentally and physically fit to take the test. And this girl has some medical issues. I'm not even going to tell you, I'm not going to violate that. But for him to go constantly aboard her for over 5 hours, I would have got the fuck up and walked out too. I mean, you know what I mean? But for her to turn around because on the advice of her close relative that she trusted and say, hey, did you just go back in there and you take the polygraph and you tell the truth? And which, I mean, it's bad business, man. So,
even the next day, taking a polygraph, if anyone out there has taken a polygraph exam before, it's stressful.
Yes.
I mean, I've had to take them for employment purposes.
Yes.
I've had to take them to keep my top secret clearance.
Exactly.
To be, next to the President of the United States. And I'm going to tell you what, it's still stressful.
Oh, my God.
So to go from a polygraph and then pulled immediately into another room with a voice stress analysis, I mean, what are you just trying to get a false confession?
Yeah. Well, again, I've given thousands of tests and every time I have to take one to this day, even though I haven't done anything wrong, I'm sweating. I have my butterflies in my stomach, et cetera. I know the whole process and whatever, right? But anyway, the natural progression of this case, as it should have been, was to exclude Stephanie, the mother, first and Mr. Bobby. And then, certainly we would have taken a look at the sister because of the closeness and, maybe some things they're doing or not doing, whatever. But we would have taken a look at her, but the polygraph would have exonerated her and would have moved on to something else. Now, would it given her 2 voice stress tests after the polygraph? I don't get it, whatever. So, but again, Rabelais has lied to. He's, straight up lied to by saying she failed the voice stress test when she said that they told her she passed or the examiner did. And he also lies by omission and doesn't say that she passed the real polygraph. So I don't know, man. And y'all, we're going to stop on where the investigation part right now, because we need to talk about as to what we've done, because we need to talk about other stuff, right, Joan? A few more things. Anyway, I'm gonna tell you something. Some shit's about to go down, and next week it's going to be nuclear. And I just want to tell you this. I mentioned several times on the polygraph last week that I thought we were going to have a meeting with Alexandria PD's higher ups. I was even told one time that their lawyers would be there or whatever. I didn't care. I mean, I wasn't like I was going in to interview them about the podcast, and I wasn't. I was going to go in as an ex-law enforcement officer and say, hey, you know what? I wasn't going to record them, period. And I would go off the record and tell them, hey, you know what? Here are all these things. These dots or what do you want to call it, Jim? Shit. Here's all this evidence of facts and things that have been done wrong. And I'm talking about, it looks bad. It looks really bad. If I was high up at Alexandria PD, you damn well better believe that, I'd be getting my ducks in a row, right? Well, guess what? Go ahead, yeah.
No, I mean, I know it seems like we're like we said it 1,000 times before. There's a lot of good law enforcement out there, and we're not by any means saying that all of the PD or all the sheriff's officers are bad. Most of the people are great, and we're not trying to make the department there look stupid. But my God, they are making it so freaking easy right now to make them look stupid because they really did a terrible job. And I've lost all respect for Detective Green, flat out. Sorry, it is what it is. I have zero respect for what you've done. It's just terrible and shameful. You should be ashamed of yourself, to be quite honest. And, I'm just starting to wonder at some point. I mean, it's embarrassing.
Yeah.
And I know that if I ran a department, I would be super pissed that this is what I put out into the field. This is what I thought was somebody doing a great job. What the hell kind of a great job did you do? You left crumbs and a mess everywhere.
Yeah.
So what did you exactly do? I mean, I don't get it. If I ran my platoon in Afghanistan like this, I wouldn't have anybody to bring home.
That's right, Dad. I'll be dead.
At some point or another, you got to lead from the front, and you got to show them how it's done. That's why you're in the top spot. So if you know that this is what's going on, tighten it the hell up and get it right. And if this is all the stuff that's been left, you need to figure this out and get on it.
That's period. Yeah. And the deal was, y'all, that the person that I was supposed to have contact with came highly recommended and from different people. So I had said, this dude is straight up. I'm telling you, he's a straight shooter, et cetera. And I think what happened is the lawyers got involved on his part, right? I mean, and especially on the polygraph, we've been telling facts, and if we could have had a meeting before last Friday's episode. Hey, y'all, let me tell you about Gobble. All Gobble meal kits are pre-prepped. That means less work for you and less waste in your kitchen. Their meal kits include everything you need so you can save time at the store or just skip that trip entirely. I got the box in and I had 3 different meals. I had a Kung Pao chicken, crispy fish tacos, and a beef bourguignon, however you say it. But let me tell you about the classic beef bourguignon. Look, it came with beef pot roast and a beef broth concentrate, red wine demi-glace, cremini mushrooms, cipollone onions, mashed potatoes, baby carrots, and rosemary thyme butter. It was so easy to make. Literally like 15 minutes it took Cindy. And let me tell you something, and all the dishes were fire, but this thing was like a taste explosion in my mouth. It's just unreal. We've got to spend more time together and more time doing the things we love because everything came in this one single box right to my door. So see what a difference Gobble will make for your household. Right now, they're offering my listeners a fantastic limited time deal. You get $120 off across 4 boxes plus free shipping and free cookies. And let me tell you, those cookies, I ate one that was sin-baked and it was delicious. Go to gobble.com/real life. That's GOBBLE.com/real life for $120 off your first 4 boxes. This offer is not available on the home site, so don't miss out. This is genius. It's taste explosions in your mouth like you never had. Hey ladies, are you feeling overwhelmed by hormonal changes? Well, you're definitely not alone. There are more than 1,000 hormone disruptors living in our environment right now. It's in your food, your water, the air you breathe, the clothes you wear, your skincare products. They all mess with your hormones. Then there's the natural hormone changes your body goes through, premenopause, menopause. And while it's a natural process, it doesn't mean you have to suffer through it. The good news is you don't have to suffer through it anymore because now you have Hormone Harmony, a formula made only with herbal ingredients that are shown to reduce hormonal symptoms in women of all ages. Hormone Harmony is not just a hormone support and supplement, it's become a phenomenon. Women can't stop talking about it on social media. A bottle of Hormone Harmony is sold every 24 seconds. And the biggest benefit? Well, my wife says it makes her feel like her own self again. And that's what women mention over and over in the reviews. And there are over 30,000 reviews for Hormone Harmony. And for a limited time, you can get 15% off your entire first order at happymammoth.com. Just use code RLRC at checkout. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC for 15% off today. That's happymammoth.com and use code RLRC. So, I mean, about the search warrant and all that stuff, I mean, maybe they could have had a chance to address it, but didn't have it. The meeting was supposed to happen this week. Didn't happen. Guess what? We found out more stuff this week that Green's done. There you have it. I think the lawyers involved, I think that they're probably, I think they're afraid. I think they're afraid of where this is going to go and how far it can go. Because let me tell you something. Negligence. Yeah, negligence is the least of the problems, right? If you just stepped out and looking in at the very best case, it's negligence. What's the far end of the spectrum? If you have to look at both ends of the spectrum, if negligence is the best case scenario that they've done, well, what's the other one? So, but get off of that. I do have something that is pretty amazing, and I'm telling you, I believe it with every ounce of my being. This came about because of you lifers. Y'all are blowing it up. The private crew page on Facebook where, the people are going on there as more people finding out about the case and commenting, et cetera. There's a lot of more locals from the Alexandria area, et cetera, that are finding out about it. And people are pissed. And rightfully so when they hear what the things that we told you. And we hadn't lied to you about anything, but we told you facts that were told to us straight out of the horse's mouth, or facts that we had in hand that could prove that they're lying. And so people just evidently have been raised in hell. And yesterday morning, was it Jim? Yesterday morning, because yesterday morning, Jim calls me. It's not early for us, but we sleep a couple hours at a time. I think it's like 6 o'clock my time. It's like 5 o'clock his.
I essentially I research this stuff all throughout the evening hours, and I call Woody in the morning, and I blow him up.
Yeah, but this one, I wasn't expecting this one. It hurt my heart, man. He called and he said, dude, he said, you're not going to believe it. You tell him what you found or didn't find.
So I went ahead and I wanted to just double check and see if, the wonderful cold case unit with Rapides Parish wanted to know if Courtney's case was still listed on there. And so when I went ahead and went to the website and looked, found that her case was taken off of the cold case. It's no longer with the cold case unit. I refreshed my computer. I pulled out a second computer. I checked it through my phone.
Why did you do all that? Why'd you do it?
I did all that just because I wanted to I wanted to double check, triple check, because for me, I'm like, why isn't that? Because it was just there. 2 weeks ago? A week ago?
Shit, last week. Yeah, I mean, it's been there. I mean, it's been recent, there. 10 days. Yeah.
So why would it all of a sudden now be gone and down? And so I told that to Woody, and hey, Woody.
I just, my stomach sank. And then well, we have so much involved in this. And I thought, oh my God, well, maybe they're so pissed, about Detective Isles being on the phone saying it was an open investigation. And then he told, Detective Rabelais called him on the phone and said, it's closed. It's an overdose. I thought maybe they were so pissed that they were just pulling out of it. Right. And I mean, that's a big deal, y'all. It's the Crime Stoppers. I mean, it's the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office Crime Stoppers page. And of course, the murders need to be listed up there. And so he tells me that, and I'm like, oh my God. And yesterday, y'all, was the vigil. I don't know the official name of it. It's the National Day of Remembrance, something like that, for victims that have been murdered. And Stephanie, Courtney's mom, runs it, like, for the state of Louisiana. And she runs the one in Alexandria. And it's a big organization, all this time and effort to go into it. And it's not a day to get up there and say what the cops haven't done or, whatever. It's a day just to get up there so the victims' names can be spoken and family members can say something if they want to. And I'm like, how in the hell am I going to call Stephanie? Yeah, call Stephanie and say, you know what? They took Courtney's shit off the website. And then, but you know what? Be honest with you, I called her and told her, and she said, well, they weren't doing a damn thing anyway. And so she went on about her day. And thankfully, and this is where you lifers come in, all of you, each and every one of you that's taken the time to post and share, etc. Later on, there's two things on that site, cold cases and current. And later on, he finds out that I guess you just hit it by chance, huh, Jim? Or just, I don't know what, the current.
I was going back to it, just looking, and I'm gonna let you give this one.
He clicks on the current button, and guess what? Courtney Coco's murder case has now been officially moved from the cold case unit and placed number 1 on the Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office current crime file unit. Let that sink in, lifers. This frozen case is no longer frozen. that whether it's thawed out from the heat in the kitchen or the combination thereof, I don't care. Just like, Alexander PD, we could have met with them. We would have gave them everything. The ultimate goal is not to sink them. It's to get somebody in law enforcement to actively work Courtney's case again. Shit, it hadn't been done. And I'm going to tell you one more thing. That article Jim read last week, it just popped in my head, Jim. I'm sorry. The article Jim read last week from December of 2005, that when the news went to Alexander PD and they said, oh, we didn't even know we were supposed to be working this case. And they go to Chambers County Sheriff and he said, Alexander PD called and said, we're sending an officers down to get the case back on track. I asked Rabelais about that last night and he said, negative, Ghost Rider. That nobody ever has come down from Rapides Parish except for those two detectives that told me that her case was closed. But I shouldn't have stolen the thunder moment. What I'm so proud of is the pressure has been turned up because of what y'all are doing. That it doesn't matter how small the gesture, whether you leave a comment, you share a post, and the family members are no longer being quiet. They've been told for almost 15 years, oh no, don't say anything to anybody about it. Just keep quiet. You don't want to mess up the investigation. Well, guess what? They're coming out now too, Jag, and they're putting posts, and it's powerful. And so the liking and the sharing, and hey, you Patreon members that are contributing, and you people who are making the donations to help us stay and put this kind of time and effort in. Hell, I hadn't been home in almost a month and more than 8 hours. And, it's those little things that y'all are doing that are pushing this case forward. And officially, it's no longer a cold case. It's listed number 1 under current cases. So that's big time, big time.
Absolutely. Woody and I, we promised this family to get answers. And dang it, we're going to find the answers. Yeah. We will either going to find them on our own, or we were willing to help. I mean, at the end of the day, go ahead.
That's right. I'm sorry about cutting you off. I don't care who solves it. I don't care if Alexander PD pulls out a golden boy now who actually wants to do the job and they run with it. I don't care if it's Rapides Parish Sheriff's Office. I don't care if it's Jim or I. Or if we have to take it to somebody else, like the state police. That's right. State or the FBI, because of things that have been done or haven't been done. And that option's on the table, Jack. I don't care who does it. I want to sit there with Jim or stand there in front of that family and tell them Courtney's murder has been solved. The bastards are under arrest.
Absolutely. That's going to be the greatest moment. I'm going to tell you, you want to talk about a family that's been through a lot.
Oh, my God.
15 years they have endured constant lies, in my opinion.
It is lies.
Between the lies, between
false hopes.
False hopes, to ignoring phone calls, to talking them away from taking any further action. It's like they played this family as if this family is stupid. And let me tell you something, they are not.
The farthest thing from it.
Family,
that's right.
And they have worked their tails off on their own and have put together some much appreciated notes that I have access to, that I've been combing through every single day. This family has done their homework and they want answers. They love their daughter. They love their family member.
Oh my God.
And they have absolutely worked their tails off to try to get this, and all they needed was somebody to help them out. And you would think that your local police department or sheriff's office would actually have helped them, but instead they got the opposite for whatever reason. We're going to find out.
Yep, and that's right. And this family is something really special, and it's not just the mom and the dad, Mr. Bobby. It's the aunts, the cousins. They all gave birth to Courtney. I mean, Miss Anna, the grandma. Oh my gosh. It's like every one of them gave birth to them. That's how much love and passion is in this case. And I'm telling you something, It's coming. And I'm going to go ahead and lay down the gauntlet again. Hey, if you think that we're just sitting here and it's week 4 and we're just now getting to the mom and daughter, bad guys and bad girls, guess what? We're way ahead of you bitches, and we're way ahead of you, and your sugar's fixing to turn to shit because we're coming, Jack, and we know stuff.
Oh yeah, I so wish we could talk about it at the moment. I know we can't, but let's just say I've uncovered some things as well. Woody's fully aware of it, and
Jim has come. I just can't say too much because I don't want to give it away. But if it hadn't been for, I don't want to call you an idiot savant or whatever that term is, his genius and the breaking this stuff down and tying stuff in, we wouldn't be near where we are. He is the bomb. And not only the hitman, he's the bomb. But it's coming. Bad boys, bad girls. We're coming. And so we're way ahead of where you think we are. And that's to all you people of interest out there. You should be very afraid. It's time for you bitches to be afraid and scared and looking over your shoulder. You've gotten away with it for too long.
Not anymore.
That's right.
Not anymore. Next week's going to be nuclear.
Oh,
just wait.
Okay.
Just wait.
The y'all, I just can't say any more about it. I don't want to give anything away or give anybody any chance to help anybody or whatever, but people, you know who you are, and you think we're bullshitting, just wait. So fans, lifers, patrons, people who are listening for the first time, we love and appreciate each and every one of y'all. Our growth rate is phenomenal. And I don't know if a lot of y'all know this, but we were nominated, by the People's Choice for, in 3 different categories for podcast awards. And the first category was People's Choice Podcast of the Year. And the second category was podcast, for society and culture. And the third category was for drama and storytelling. And we made the finalists for drama and storytelling and society and culture. That podcast awards are this Sunday night, and they're going to be broadcast live across the world. Do I think we have a chance? Probably not, because y'all, we're up against over 750,000 other podcasts, but we made the finals, the top 10 in 2 of the categories, Jim, but we were only 5 months old. We were only 5 months old, and we're going up against the shows that have millions of listeners that have been around 4 and 5 years and stuff. So, but it's because of y'all, and we love you. And our growth rate is just off the charts, phenomenal. And if you get a chance, go to iTunes and leave us that review. That does help. And like us and share us and all that other stuff, huh, Jim? They say on other podcasts, to promote yourself or whatever. Just to keep doing what you're doing. And we're going to keep doing what we do. And we apologize about the audio and stuff. I guess one day we'll be in some big fancy studio and we'll have engineers and people to handle all that. Until then, you get 2 old cops that, we do what we do. And evidently audio engineering isn't part of it yet. But
at the end of the day, you get it raw, and that's how we are. And we thank you guys very much for all the support. And I tell you that, like Woody had said, all the growth has really, it's been phenomenal to see the amount of crew members that are coming in, and just the word is spreading. I mean, I'm getting calls and texts all day, every day. I love it, and it's, all this is spreading from you fans, and we appreciate that. I can tell you, Woody and I have been getting messages. We have people contacting us all over the country to investigate their cold case files that have been going on for years. Yep. And, that's something that we will definitely look at exploring. But right now, we are 100,000% dedicated to solving this case and getting closure for this family, because nobody deserves it more than this family that we've encountered up to this point. and we're gonna stand with them. We're gonna walk with them, and we're gonna side by side, hand in hand. They have our commitment on that. We will continue to work this until it is done. Period.
For real. So y'all continue to like and share and do all that podcast stuff. And y'all are the ones that are making it such a success. And you're the reasons that we're getting all these comments. And look, we've gotten some tips on it. Don't forget about the tip line and stuff. I guess I should have had notes to tell y'all what to look for or whatnot. Anyway, we got, a ton of tips on tip lines. And believe it or not, I'm going to divulge just a little bit, Jim, before we go. A couple of them came in about the same topic that had nothing to do or that were anywhere on the radar in my mind or Jim's mind or the family's mind or anybody's mind. And Jim was able to go connect the dots from different people calling in on the hotline. And that's now we have another person of interest. So it's y'all's tips are huge.
Absolutely.
Except
I'm
maybe
going to give you that information.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm going to give that information. You can either call or text area code 225-395-1302. We'll give you that number one more time. 225-395-1302. Or you can email Woody at Real Life Real Crime or Jim at realliferealcrime.com. Sorry, I forgot to add that .com to it. Well, we want to hear from you. For those of you that have been sending in information, it's wonderful. Thank you.
Hey, and if we don't respond to every single one of you, I promise you, every one of them is read. Sometimes it's such a volume of information, y'all, that we only have time enough to read them. And if something we already know, we're certainly appreciative. If we have time to respond, what we do. And
but we take every single tip serious. We have to. You never know, so you can never just read something and be like, "Oh, this can't be it." You have to actually physically verify the information, or find the link, or find something to either include it or exclude it. Yeah, every single tip. So we appreciate it.
Maybe, Jim, did get one this week. I guess we still excluded it. And I won't go into the details, but it started out with, I know this is going to sound crazy. This was them saying that, not me. I know this is going to sound crazy, but I know that Nixon killed Kennedy and they had X, Y, and Z to do with this case. Well, shit. Didn't take Big Bad Jim too long to rule that one out. But that's, you get those, y'all. But for,
it gives me a little laugh anyway.
Yeah. We have to laugh instead of crying, right? All right. Well, hey, wrapping it up. Love y'all. Jim, say your piece.
Hey, I appreciate it. Every one of you. Thank you very much for all that you're doing. Continue to do it. We're going to continue to fight on our end, and let's bring justice for Courtney.
Yeah, for real. And that's it, y'all. Tune in next week. And I'm Woody Overton, your host, with my co-host, Jim the Hitman Raffman. And until next week or ever, don't let us catch you down on Murder Bayou. Peace.
Peace.
Hi there, this is Levi Page. I'm the host of the true crime podcast, Crime and Scandal. Join me as I take you on all the twists and turns of the unsolved mysteries that keep you up at night, the criminal trials that rivet you, and the scandals that rock the headlines. Subscribe to Crime and Scandal on Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen to podcasts. That's Crime and Scandal, your next true crime audio addiction.
You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to an attorney prior to and during questioning. can't afford one, a 1/4-point for you. You understand your rights?
Hello, it is Ryan, and we could all use an extra bright spot in our day, couldn't we? Just to make up for things like sitting in traffic, doing the dishes, counting your steps, all the mundane stuff. That is why I'm such a big fan of Chumba Casino. Chumba Casino has all your favorite social casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere with daily bonuses. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com. That's ChumbaCasino.com.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.